Welcome to Abode with Afta, the podcast where we step inside real homes and uncover the stories behind the renovations. I'm your host and interior designer Ashley, and I'm speaking with homeowners and industry experts about what it really takes to transform a house. Hello and welcome back to the Abode with Afta podcast. So I'm coming back today to do another solo episode for you guys. And before I get into it, actually, I want to update you on what I've been up to recently, because March was absolutely mental. So if you follow me on social media, then you would have seen we hosted our first Afta event. If you didn't see it, why not? You need to go over there. And this event was something special. It was my first panel event. I had amazing people on the panel with me, covering designers, suppliers, and the trades, and just the people that came along as well. It was a night for homeowners, a night for suppliers, me meeting new trades, and the way everyone came together in the space was just, I can't describe it. It was so good, and I'm already like, when is the next one? It was literally 3 weeks ago, but I'm still feeling the high from it. But this event is what has prompted my podcast for today. So one of the questions we got asked was, where's somewhere in the home that you would recommend people spending their money? And I feel like the obvious answer to that is, your kitchen's going to be expensive, so spend your money there. Or, your bathroom's just as expensive. But we all know that kitchens and bathrooms are expensive, so that is not what I answered. Instead, I said built-ins. So what do I mean by built-ins? Now, built-ins are things into your home that first comes under joinery. So this is craftsmanship. It is something created fully bespoke for your space. And it's something that's structural, it fits the space, and it also becomes part of the room. So an example of this could be that you have open alcoves and it's been bespoke built in there. Now, this is something we actually see all the time on Instagram. There's obviously kind of dupes to do that with people DIYing it. But I'm going to talk about today's episode in the terms of craftsmanship and getting, a professional in to do it. So why are built-ins worth it? Why did I use that as my answer? Well, they actually make the space work harder. Now, what I mean by that is you could buy furniture for storage again and again, but then you're left with pokey wee holes, at the sides of rooms, down the side of wardrobes where the furniture doesn't quite fit yet. And actually, it just creates a mismatch in your space. And I know this because I recently worked with a client. And honestly, I swear to God, their home had every type of IKEA storage shelving unit in it you could imagine. And instead of looking like they had more storage, it just looked cluttered. And I'd actually prompted them with this, like, you've tried to create the storage. I can see that's what you're struggling with. But what we've now created is all these mismatched bulky items, and they were like I get it. So instead of having all this busyness and the noise, you could actually have something custom made, built in, and it just takes away from that busyness look, and you actually get more storage space out of it as well. So another reason for going for bespoke is if you have any awkward angles or, old cornices in your room. So I'm thinking right now of an older style property. Maybe it's Victorian, maybe it's got high ceilings, which typically your kind of shelf bottom storage doesn't really cover. And all these angled rooms, again, just leave with dead space. So having somebody to come in, professional, who can really work around what you've got, and actually it might highlight what you've got as well, will just add to the space and how it feels at the end. Another thing is, if you are designing for yourself or for resale value even here, one thing that people are going to notice when they come in is what you've done to the space. So yes, we all say, don't spend too much if you're planning to resale because for them it might not be worth it. But they're going to see that you've made a wee bit of effort there, and actually what you've done might be something they need especially. And I mean that from the perspective of if you've added storage and it's been built in really nicely, then of course they're going to be like, that's amazing, that's something maybe we wouldn't have thought of already, and they're going to see the value in that, which might actually make them, you know, get that attachment to your home and then offer more for it. And another reason for this, which is probably something related to resale value in a different way, is that it's something that actually photographs. It shows that a space is considered. It shows that a space has had real effort putting into it. You know, when you see these Instagram worthy photographs, usually it comes down to something bespoke, whether that's under the stairs, alcove, or joinery around your dressing room to make it look built in. I actually recently did a project with understairs cabinetry, and oh my god, it looks absolutely incredible. We colour blocked it. It had storage cabinets in there, and then it was styled to complete it, and you can actually see that one on my website or on Instagram. So that's all the reasons why I'd probably say you should get bespoke cabinetry, but when shouldn't you? Because I do understand it is a big investment. So if you're going to move in the next couple of years, then maybe it's something you wouldn't want to think about putting in. Not because it goes against that resale value, but you want to put your money back into the next property you buy. So that's one thing I would say. Also, if the bones of your house isn't right, so what I mean by that is if you need new windows, new roof, there's damp, things like that, do not be going out and buying bespoke cabinetry or getting people in, because what you need to do is get the place livable and, you know, airtight and things like that first. So if you are considering getting bespoke cabinetry or any type of joinery, then here is the process that I would use to get there. So number one, be clear on what you actually want. Now, do you want your cabinetry for storage? Do you want it for just display? Do you need lighting in it? Now, these are all the types of things that I would go through with a client if I was going to do any bespoke cabinetry for them. And when I'm doing it for a client, I also always provide a visual. And this means that when we decide what they want, we can pass it over to the cabinet maker or the joiner, and they know what's getting installed as well. So when you're going to get a quote for it, there's a couple of options of what you can do. One, you can go directly to a cabinet maker. I would say, they'll have a massive portfolio of projects they can show you, so you know that the quality is going to be there. They probably have workshops that they work from. Or you can go down the route of using a joiner. Now, if you are getting other work done in your house, then I'd probably ask the joiner if it's something that he can do. But I would also ask him to see previous types of work, because let's be honest, bespoke cabinetry, in terms of materials, time, labour, it's not going to be anything cheap. So, and it's not just a case of fitting it. You're wanting somebody who knows how to cut it, how it's going to fit into the space and look good when it's done. So between the two routes, it's always good to even go down both, get your quotes and go from there. But I'd definitely be asking to see if they've done any previous type of work. One thing that could be wrong, if you're going for, a joiner who doesn't specialise in cabinetry, it won't come from the way it's cut and the way it's fitted, but it will come from the finish. Now, what I mean by that is nails sticking out, just punch marks, and that's not what you're wanting when you want that clean finish, especially when the painter goes to does his work. So I also see people rushing to get their joiner in once they get the idea, I really want this, let's get it done. But I'd take the time to get the design right. Think about what it's actually going to add to your space. Think about how you're going to finish it off in terms of paint colours, worktops in there. And what I mean by that is you might have storage underneath with a worktop on top of it. Now, we actually done not just a client's job, but in our own renovation, we recently got bespoke cabinetry done. We had joiners in to do kind of different things. One of the things that we did was in our main bedroom, we originally had sliding mirrored wardrobes in there. And then on the same wall, just up from it, we had our ensuite. We took the doors and all that out and we were going to reframe it, and I just looked at it and I was like, this looks so busy. Like door, frame. I didn't like it at all. So what we actually did was we got custom doors built, so custom joinery, and this was for the doors and for inside the wardrobe, so there was a bit of shelving and rails in there. Now this ended up being 2 doors. We had a false door and then we have our own suite door, and actually our own suite's hidden so you wouldn't know it was there from the outside because it looks like it's just part of the wardrobe. And we actually made a couple of mistakes on this. So for this job, one, I would say I wish we looked more into who was going to fit it, just because the way it's been painted after, you can see some of the nail marks and things. And from working with other cabinet makers and other jobs, I wish I'd known that back then. But like the job still looks good, but just for, you know, the interior designer and me the level that I'd like. Inside the wardrobes as well, so we painted them as navy, but because the room is south facing, it actually looks bluer than what a sample would. But inside the wardrobes it's painted navy as well. It's all been colour blocked, so unfortunately my partner can't really see his clothes because I didn't put a light in there, and that's an oversight. But obviously I wasn't really thinking about him and what he could do in his space. I was only thinking about myself and how it would look. So if I could go back, I would have got some nice lighting put in there. And then to tie that up, I also painted it myself, and painting an MDF is probably the worst experience I've ever had in my life, because you have to prime it first, then you have to prime it again, sand it in between, and I wish I just got somebody in to spray it all before I got my flooring put down. So, but actually being through that experience by myself, I can appreciate why having skilled tradespeople in to do it is a big thing, and why it is a bit more of an expense, because the difference between having it looking, you know, good to excellent does make a big difference. So that kind of wraps up, you know, my reasons for and against. But going back to the night of the event, why did I answer built-ins? Because they're just so glamorous. This is what you're seeing online, and it's what people are wanting. Everybody's taking their hand to the DIY side of it, which I think is absolutely amazing as well. But one thing that makes people hesitant from it, and I feel like this is kind of on the mark with it, it's not the investment of the cost. What's holding people back is actually the commitment, because built-in means permanent. And that's something that if you don't get right, or you can't make your decision on, then you're going to just not do it, when actually it could increase not just a value in your home, but it could just increase that feeling of it's well put together. Your space feels more luxury and feels more expensive. And actually, from the projects that I work on with clients where they're getting this bespoke cabinetry made, even like from my own home, one thing I can guarantee is that they absolutely cannot wait to start. And that's from us, you know, really focusing on getting a design plan together. Usually we're doing it as part of, you know, a room design or a full home renovation anyway, so they're getting to see how it fits into everything else. But once you have that plan, I promise it is a great renovation when you find your design team and the right people to install it. So I hope this was a really useful episode for you today. And if you found this helpful, then one thing I need to ask you is please like and subscribe to our channel. We are really trying our best to put out there amazing guests for you, but also my own renovation experience, which is why I want to come on here and do these solo episodes. And also, if you would like to work with me, whether that's on your interiors or your renovation, then head to the show notes, because my website's in there and you can take a look at all our services. I'll see you in the next one.